Well, I think that after watching the film of the last game, there's one thing that was really pretty obvious in the game. It was a very physical game, on both sides, which is a good thing from the standpoint that I thought we played with, better toughness, better effort, especially on defense, tackled a little bit better, made less mental errors. I think offensively, we probably need to execute a little bit better, and I think everybody's got to take responsibility, for that, from coach's standpoint, from me to everything that we need to do. And every player on offense can't have a couple plays where they don't do it exactly like it's supposed to be done. And I know that on many occasions it's always the quarterback's fault. But quarterback is a hard position to play when the people around you aren't doing exactly what they're supposed to do. And I'm sure that every guy on our offensive team would certainly, say that they could play better, probably including the quarterback. But the biggest thing is we need to focus on improvement. We need to focus on making the corrections that we need to make to improve. And, the way you do that is we know we can be better. So we got to go practice with the expectations that we can be better, and work on getting better together as a group with everyone supporting each other so that we can make the progress that we need to make in all parts of the game. I'm talking about offense, defense, and special teams. We're still looking to continue to improve as a team so we can play to a standard that I think we're capable of for 60 minutes in a game, and we're going to continue to work toward that. We had some players of the week, Trent Richardson and Alfred McCullough on offense, defense, Mark Barron and C.J. Mosley, and I know Mark was the defensive honorable mention guy in the league, and special teams, Cade Foster, Marquise Mays, who was the co-special teams player of the week, and Alex Watkins. All did a nice job for us on special teams. From an injury standpoint, I don't know that we have any new really significant injuries, but we do have a few guys that will be limited today. DeQuan Menzie, Eddie Lacy, D. Milner, Courtney Upshaw, mostly just, guys bruised up, dinged up, whatever, should be able to go tomorrow and may be able to do some things today. DJ Fluker will continue to be limited, and I think his status is still very questionable as to whether he'll be able to get back and do enough this week to be able to play in this game. This is Alabama-Tennessee game is certainly a signature game, for our fans, our alumni. There's been some great games in this series through the years. I think you can kind of throw out everything from record and what happened last week in the first game of the year and all that stuff, and this is a big game for both teams, and they certainly have a very capable team. I think Derek's done a fantastic job with the team that he has. They're well coached, they play sound, they put themselves in position to have a chance to win games against good competition, and the quarterback has done a nice job for them, the tailback has done a nice job for them. They have balance on offense. Their defense, plays very aggressively, play with a lot of spirit. So this is going to be a difficult game for us, and we need to focus on playing our best football of the year.
With the defenses you face, have they been doing anything consistently the last few games to attack you guys, or is it a variation of things?
Well, I'm not sure that, it's always about what they did. When we watch the film most of the time, it's a lot about what we did, and in some cases what we didn't do. So, we need to execute better, we need to do things better, we need to get better play at every position, we need to play together better, we need to stay positive in what we're trying to do and get some trust and belief, in each other, that if everybody does the right things, we're going to have a chance to be successful. The way Ole Miss has played us for 3 years, I said this at the press conference afterwards, You know, they put everybody up in the box and dare you to throw the ball. And, you know, we executed in the passing game at times, and we did not execute like we need to at times. And we left some plays on the field with, you know, drop balls, a couple missed throws, a couple missed reads, a couple not so good routes. I mean, sometimes maybe we could have had a little better pass protection. So I don't think it's any one specific thing. I think it's a combination of things that we need to do to execute better, and that will help us.
Coach, can you comment on the increased role that Darius Hanks has had on the field this season?
Well, Darius Hanks has been a good player for us, you know, for several years now. He's very athletic and very consistent, has certainly improved and continues to play with better and better toughness, and he's got great hands. And, you know, if there's anything that we probably need to do better, it's to be able to get him the ball, because we feel like he's a guy that can make plays and, you know, does a good job of running routes. So, you know, I think that him and Marquise Mays both have done a really good job at receiver. We just need to get him the ball.
Hey, Coach, when you talk about execution problems on offense, how much does it change week to week, the offense? Do things, when you're having execution problems, do they get scaled back or do you add? How does that, is it pretty fluid?
Well, I think, you know, you have to plan based on what the other team does. And I think that, you know, sometimes you get a little defensive, which is not good. I think you have to stay aggressive, you know, in what you're doing. When things, you know, maybe don't go well, you get a little defensive in how you attack, and that's not a good way to be. It's hard to say giddy up, whoa, and the horse really know what to do. You're sending a mixed message there. So, you know, we want to be aggressive, we want to be attacking, and, you know, we have to do those things. And, you know, we can't get defensive in terms of how we're doing things, and continue to use all the skilled players that we have and try to make explosive plays and, you know, give people opportunities. And I don't think we've done a good enough job of that in the last couple of weeks.
Hey, Coach Saban, I have two. First, you had indicated that Julio could have come back into the game, undoubtedly if he had been desperately needed in the second half. Could you just update us on how his hand sort of held up and what his status is this week?
Well, he's fine, and he's practicing today, and he's going to do everything all week in practice. So we re-x-rayed his hand. He doesn't have any problems. I think, you know, what happened was he got hit on his index finger, and it stretched the stitches, you know, probably the underneath stitches as much as anything. But he's fine, and he's going to practice today.
And also, D. Milner, for first-year players, getting a lot of time in the secondary. Is he getting kind of a baptism by fire from some other teams back there, and how's he responded?
Well, I thought he played, you know, better, you know, in this last game. Played with more confidence, made some plays on the ball. You know, certainly has the ability. With the young players, we really have worked hard on trying to be a good perimeter force team and do a good job in leverage and tackling. And that's something that I think we all need to continue to improve on. But, you know, D has done a good job for a true freshman who is getting the baptism under fire with playing against some pretty good players.
I have two. The first one is, what's your relationship like these days with Derek DeWood? Do you get to talk to him at all during the season?
Well, I do talk to him on occasion. I haven't talked to him for a couple of weeks, but you know, quite a few of the guys, whether it's, you know, Will Muschamp or whatever, I mean, you have personal relationships with people and you have professional relationships with them, and you have to compete against them, but that doesn't mean you have to dislike them or you can't appreciate and respect all that they've done, you know, for the years that they work with you, and the relationships you have with them and their family and everybody else. So, you know, that's something that I've always, I mean, whether it was Bill Belichick in the NFL or whatever, that's never been an issue for me, and it doesn't seem to be much of an issue with the people that, you know, we have relationships with on their side of it either. So, I do talk to Derek on occasion, and I think he's doing a fantastic job up there.
Regarding Julio again, in the first quarter, the last play that he attempted to catch a pass, it looked as though the defender grabbed his arm and may have tried to even squeeze his hand. Did you guys see that, and how do you feel about that?
That wasn't the issue. The ball hit his, which, you know, he practiced quite a bit last week. That never happened. Nobody anticipated that, you know, being a problem. It just was one of those things where the ball hit this finger, and that was the, you know, the point that he hadn't experienced and we hadn't experienced in terms of that being an issue. And it really wasn't an issue. It did create a little discomfort for him at the time. And when we re-x-rayed him and knew either he was okay and he was okay to go back in the game, but we just decided, you know, we were ahead in the game. We just kind of hopefully get him ready to play this week.
Coach, just a quick follow-up question on Derek Dooley. He's somebody you've obviously got a lot of experience with. Can you discuss what makes him a good coach in your opinion?
Well, I think first of all, he's a very bright guy and a student of the game and all parts of the game. You know, he wasn't one of those guys that, you know, just thought he was a one position coach on offense or one position coach on defense. You know, he looked at the big picture all the time. He's got a great family sort of heritage, you know, relative to football, so he kind of grew up with it, understands the big picture of issues and problems that you have to deal with in a program, and I think he's a really good recruiter. So I think he's got all the right stuff to be a very successful, you know, college coach.